Kembo, Kembo na tatanzambi ya Mazulu, kimfumo kyakuisa, nzambi mawesha, nzambi yakubenesha, nzambi monene, nzambi mpungu tulendo wa Kongo yawe. All praises. I give honor to King Kongo, tatanzambi mpungu. Kiambote, away nusiemi, Kiambote Kiano. Tusikameni, if it's the morning time where you are. I want to say uh, Yenge, Yenge Keno, Salama, Dumalang, Betuabu, to all of the Bana Betu scattered across to the earth. We call upon Tatanzambi at this time for this teaching. I'm going to go ahead and hopefully use the StreamYard recording or let it go live to see if that makes a difference with the music and the stuff in the background. Because I don't know what it is that's going on with the way things are being done through, you call it, drawing a blank, through the app. Wow, my brain isn't working right now. I apologize. Ndoloka, forgive me. Zoom. Now we know Zoom is actually the word of Zombie. People don't even know about that. Zombie, which is also connected to the zoom lens for the one-eyed pirate. They use that as well. I hope that all of you will Ndoloka, forgive me for not always being in contact with everyone. My apologies. Sometimes it's all about the Mwanda and what the Most High wants, and it's because of my topic. The sabotage is real. I've been talking to some brothers, and I talked to a sister. She's traveled to the continent a couple times. She's traveled quite a bit, actually. She's been around the world, and it's funny to listen to how she talks about a lot of the things that we discuss, why she was so ready to accept this Bantu awakening, because it was connecting the dots for her. And I know she talks about her family and whatnot. I know my sister that's dealing with her illness, that she sent me a message. Be praying for you all that are sick and dealing with issues. I know at this time I'm going to talk about the movie that will come out in January. This is basically the bragging of the wizard. As you can see that when you look at the previews, they're showing you that the Bible is incorrect with many things that they altered because because they're using the real scriptures to produce that film. And they're showing you that guy who would be calling himself Simon, because see, his name, it's funny because I have an Uncle Clarence, you know, the Book of Clarence that they show you, because many people don't understand that Kuswa Kongo changed the names of his disciples to follow what they were, that a lot of their names aren't even the original names that the Christians even call upon today, that aren't even the right ones. Because he changed his name, and he's the one, like I said, he's Simon Peter, Simon Pata, when the original Simo was Simon Kepa. And this is one of the things that we're going to talk about today. Why people continue to believe many of the delusional teachings that have been going on for generations. And basically, this is now on our prayers of the Most High, bringing out more and more revelation to expose things. We're going to talk about this is the reason, that movie that they're talking about is the reason why we've been dealing with so many issues over the last 500 plus years, if not more. because of what he was tasked with when they talk about how he's coming after the Messiah. And Kongo was like, this is something you really need to teach, because this is the antithesis of me, in of the Most High's way. And this is why so many people are under the delusion or confusion. And we're going to talk about how his role is significant to why you have many things going on in the educational systems, church houses, businesses, leaders. People don't understand that these world leaders you talk to, that you see up in front of you, they don't have anything to say unless they check it with the enemy. They cannot interact with us without confirmation from the watchers. Now, some of the people who do that, and this is when they can tell the Most High can still be in the midst. But we're going to talk about the scientific stuff that people don't understand. This is why they had to change the historical facts of history, because of the mission of this guy was to always be the destroyer of the way. Okay. And that's why Christianity was used for that purpose. And so was Islam and Judaism, among other religions that already existed at the time that were, pretty old even before that. Hinduism and many other things. But we're going to get into all of that. I'm going to play the sound. Hopefully now, when I play this in the background, again, I don't own the rights to it. I have no distribution of any kind. It's not for me to take advantage of or for me to profit from, but this is just primarily for the edification of this channel. I apologize for the attire. I know it's a little chilly. I know the East got a lot of snow, and that's all part of Yobe. As they're gonna keep covering that up. That's why now that I've learned more of the truth, I don't really pay attention much to what the weatherman's saying. I know this is a spiritual thing that's going on, because the whole concept is we're gonna talk about who really is sabotaging this awakening, and who is responsible for why we cannot wake people up. Because this guy that they're making the movie about, is whose birthday they're celebrating. Basically, because he was the spirit of Tammuz. As you saw, if anybody's seen the previews, he worked as, they took a lot of us and turned us into gladiators. And people, they made it look like Rome didn't know that the Kongo existed, and that, he was just some random guy that the Sanhedrin had a problem with. But now you see that Rome actually did have a problem with him. Because King Herod, and this when you see, that part where the guy goes in and he's seeing all the women and they're paying them off, and they all working with Pontius Pilate and everything. There were people who did see him as a threat, because of the fact that it did take away from their ability to make money off of us. As I said, we are the Bantu people, the Bana, Betu, we are the gold, we are the silver that backs the world. And that's what they don't want people to understand. That, like I said, we finance everything. We do. And that's why the whole concept is that they don't want us to know who we are, because then the wizard runs out of time. See, because he's with the hourglass, and it's his show, and now his show is coming to an end, and this is what they don't want people to know, that he's going to take, and his mentality is, I'm taking as many as the Most High people with me, and he's been doing that now. That's why they lied about their salvations that has already been in our faith, and they keep covering it up. Then they know that we should have already been saved already. Okay? And of course, because he's tied to the spirit of Baal, he's tied to the spirit of Esau, we're going to talk about why it's important for us to continue. So I'm going to play this right here. Get ready to rise up more. Simba. Time to rise up. Fix that. Sorry. Camera is off. All right. Mbote. I honor all of you who once again are scattered doing the Most High's work, Tatanzambi and Pungu. I give honor to our people scattered across the world. I'm going to be reading in Lingala from the book of Banzembo, which is what you call Psalms 35. So if you want to follow along in English, you can pull this up when you watch the recording. It's Psalms 35. Nzembo ya Davidi. Yahweh kota, likambo na nangai liboso, ya banini na nangai. Bundisa bato oyo bazali kobundisa nangai. Kamata nguba, ya moke mpe ya monene mpe, telema mpo na kusunga nangai. Tombola likonga ya monene mpe ya moke mpo na kubindisa bato oyo bazali kolana nangai, loba na nangai na zali liboko na yo. Tika ete bato oyo bazali komeka bamoy nangai basamwa mpe bayoka soni. Tika ete bato oyo bazali kokana kosala nangai mobe bazonga msima pe kakoma mawa mawa. Excuse my pronunciation. I'm still learning how to pronounce the words. Tika ete bakoma lokola matiti ya koka wuka oyo mopepe ezali kombumbisa tango angel masemaleki ya kango yave akotindika bango. Tika ete nzela na bango ekoma molili mpe moselu tango maleki ya Kongo na yawe akobengana bango. Mpo ete na kozanga tina mpo na kokanga nangai batie laki nangai mitambo mpe bati molaki mabulu. Tika ete libebi ekweyela bango na mbalakata bakangama bango moko na mitambo oyo batilaki nangai mpe bakweya kati na mobulu yango. Nakotonda na sango kati na yave mpe nakosepela kati na lobiko na ye Mikua na nangai nyoso ikoloa. O mfumu Yahweh, nani akoki kokangwala lokola yo, mobula wuta na maboka ya moto oyo aleki, people have, I know somebody whose name is Lake. That means brother or sister. Yena makasi mobola, mpe makeleli wuta na maboko ya banyokoli na bango. Batatoli witnesses. Oyo bampesa na kanza batelemi basali kopesa na ngai mituna na tina na makambo oyo na yebite. Bazali kozongo kisela na ngai mabe mpo na bolamu oyo na salaki mpe kosundola na ngai lokola monyo kolami. Nzokande, tango bango babelaki na ngai nalataki saki. And I see the word sake is in there. Namikitisaki na kokila bilei. Nazalaki kobondela mpona bango. Nazalaki kotambola na mawa lokola mpe na moninga tompo na ndeko nazalaki kokitisa moto na se mpo na mawa lokola moto oyo azali kolela mama na ye. Kasi awa na ngai nakomi na pasi bango bazali kosepela mpo kosangana wana na ngai na yebite bango basali kosangana mpo na kotango na ngai basali kolemba te kofinga na ngai lokola pango gano bazali koseka na ngai bazali kolia minu na tina na ngai. Mfumu Yahweh kino tango nini okutala kakaboye kangola. That's where the word Kongo comes from. That's where Kongo comes from. Nangai wuta na misala na bango ya mabe, bamoina nangai wuta na mansaka ya bokonzi bankosi oyo. Bokonzi really means king, but nakukumisa yokati na mayangani monene nako sanzola yokita ya ebeli ya bato. Tika ete banguna na nangai basepela tenatina na nangai. Tika ete bayini na nangai na kozanga tina bokanga misote. Pamba te balobaka te maloba ya kimya. Kasi babokinsaka lokuta mpona kokesela bwato ya kimya makambo kati na mboka. Balobaka na mogonga makasi. I'm on verse 21. Sorry, I should have been saying the verses. I'm sorry. Tomanaki ye 22. Yahweh omoni nyonso wana kovanda niete nkolo kazala mosika na nangai te. 23. La muka mpe telema mpo na kolongisa nangai nzambi nangai mpe nkolo nangai kota likambo na nangai. Verse 24. Mfumu Yahweh nzambi na nangai longisa nangai na bosembo na yo kotika bango te kosepela na tina na nangai. Tika ete bami lobela te. Tala makambo oyo tozalaki koluka. Tika ete baloba te. Toliye. Tika ete baloba te toliye. Sorry. Tika ete bato nyonso oyo basepelaka na pisi na nangai bango nyoso lisangu sanga bayoka soni mpe basamwa tika ete bato oyo batombe kelaka nangai balata soni Zion. Mpe basali kati na yiki. Tika ete is 27. Tika ete bato oyo basepelaka na busembo na nangai baganga na esengo mpe basepela tika ete balobaka tango nyoso. Tika ete mfumu yawe anitolama ye oyo asepelaka na kimya ya mowumbu na ye 28 na kosakola bosembo na yo na kukumisa ya mikolo nyoso ingeta. Hallelujah. We give honor to the Mwananzambi Fumu Yisu. We also will give Yemila praise to Tatanzambi and Pungu. We honor the Mwananzambi, Yisu Mwananzambi, the Chiluba Bana Betu, the Bayuda of the tribe of Yaoundé. All praises. We give honor to the Mondavelala, Wanakumbase, Monavela, Masadi Seto, Sakupanzo, and Zinga. We give honor to the Nkuluntu, the elders of the Pemba Kalunga, the Nkuluntu of the past. We give honor to, where's my words? All the way down to Tata Adama and Nenga Eva, Tata and Mother. We give honor to our spiritual mother, Malia Makongo. We give honor to all of those, the spiritual realm, the Yangi, to our spiritual mothers that have given us down to the time that if without them we would not be here. You know, as a person that broke down how many ancestors you know, people talk about ancestor worship being satanic, which is coming from many of that stuff is coming from the sorcerer himself. We're going to talk about that because the children of Isaele, the Bana Betu, we are all about our ancestors, or we wouldn't be here. Okay, we are all one spirit of Nzambi and Pungu when you are in the righteous way. And we're going to talk about the sabotage that is real, because that's why the sorcerer wants to have one person that saves in any of the religions that they do with the many gods that they pray to. But in ours, it has to be just the one God that saves. In his eyes, when the Messiah himself said there should be many saviors, and King David said the same. You know, even on there was an encounter with the sorcerers, making some comments about Tino Davidi. I don't agree with what they're saying about. Now, is there a possibility? Because I know it could have happened with Tino Solomon, because of the spirit that he was under, that he could have indulged in something that was considered debauchery to the Most High, because he built that temple to Sol Amon, which is Moloch. But I know that in the kingdom of Kongo and Totela, the Bana Betu, we have struggled with many false spirits, and there have been occasions where we are dealing with having same-sex problems. We're dealing with that problem today because of the fact that the world has been deceived into thinking that it's normal, when Mfumo Yisu, it was an abomination to Tatanzambi and Pungu, but he said that it will be your curse when you choose to worship the creation above the creator. And that's the problem, is that people don't get it. It's like many things you just call good or you think it's okay, and really being curses brought down because you choose to worship these gods that allow these things. And this is what they do as a sacrifice, because in reality, they don't care. Like I said, they don't care what everybody else does. They just want the power from the Bana Betu, because what that does is it gives them the ability to control us when you continue to do the things that they want. And that's why the truth is always going to be sabotaged, because you're supposed to look like you're serving the God of Bana and Saka and Yakubi, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But in reality, you're not supposed to be. It's like, it's a pretend thing. You do it in their pretend world, but you don't do it for real, okay? Kumainki, why? Kumainki. And Kumainki, the reason is our people need to stay lost. And this is how they play the game, okay? I'll play the song here late in a few minutes. Once again, we give honor to Mosi, the first, the Tatu, the three, Tata Mwanda, the real truth, okay? The Most High sits by himself, though, okay? He's in his own seat. King Kongo sits in his own seat. Kuswa Kongo is to the right. You don't sit in Tata Nzambi's chair. And the Mwanda Velala is always seeking and everywhere, okay? That's why you got to be careful about the spirits. People don't get it. We're going to talk about the fact that the Bana Betu always want to serve the wizard over Tata Kongo. What am I talking about? What is this crazy guy even talking about? As many people will say. You know, people don't understand that they have been brought into the days of Noka unawares. That they are literally giving their children over to this guy, and they're not only do they not complain about it, they're excited about it. Okay. And they're defending him. Whoever questions it. Okay. Kaina, the wizard, his spirit goes down through all the generations of people who hate Tata Kongo. He hates the Most High. He hates everything about what brings glory to him. He hates the concept that we should be, how should I say this, at peace. Okay, I was born to battle the wizard, but the world doesn't even know this. Many of us are called to do this. This is our true calling. But when you are called to do this, you will be hated, because the wizard does not want to be exposed. That's why you will be sabotaged. So if you want to talk about 1485, when Nzinga, and I'm going to show you this thing that I saw where the different calendars have so many different dates. Let me tell you, I now understand that this calendar is off, okay? That he did do some things. Because when I'm looking at how people are counting the years and the days and other calendars, I'll give you an example. I saw this thing on this guy's neck that said 1510, which had to be something significant for the secret societies. So, you know, and I'm assuming that was when they really began to conquest our kingdom. And then I'll talk about, so when I go on Wikipedia and I look up events of 1510, there was the captain of Aragon. Okay. This is an important date for Henry VIII. There was a ship called the Mary Rose that got laid out, but it sunk. Now, This is the Portuguese conquest of Goa. So they were in India. I haven't found that out. The one thing that got my attention, the Holy League formed. July, the Holy League formed to defend the Italian state attacks French-occupied Genoa. The 1510 influenza pandemic reaches Sicily, where it is nicknamed Coccoluccio, before spreading to the Italian states and the rest of Europe. So you had a pandemic in 1510. Now, this would make sense considering the fact that this is right after Italy caused Nzinga to sign the treaty. Of course, he fell in love with the Portuguese culture and the women there, and chose to think that it was better to be a Catholic than a Bantué, which in reality he didn't understand. It's like, no, you don't need this. We already have it. Okay. It talks about Sir Thomas More. This is a famous person, is the undersheriff of the city of London. But the one thing that got my attention, let's see, that's where it disappeared though. When you look at the calendar, it says, now watch this, the Gregorian says 1510. The Ub Arbe Condita, which I don't know, this is a calendar that is supposed to be from Latin. The dates the year before, and they call, now this is really interesting because they say that this is the year 2263. And the Armenian calendar, it's 959. In the Assyrian calendar, it's 6260. And the Balinese Saka calendar is 1431 to 1432. In the Bengali calendar, it's 917. In the Berber calendar, it's 2460. I don't even know how this English regnal year works. I've never seen it before. In the Buddhist calendar, it's 2054. In the Burmese calendar, it's 872. Now check this. Byzantine calendar, it's 7018 to 7019. And the Chinese calendar is 4207 or 4000. The snake to the horse, 4208. The Coptic calendar, now this is Coptic Christians, Coptic, pay attention to this. The year is 1226 to 1227. Makes you kind of wonder, huh? Now check this. The Discordian calendar, it's 2675. And the Ethiopian calendar is 1502 to 1503. And the Hebrew calendar is 5270 to 5271. Of course, that's, the Khazars. The Hindu calendars of what they call the Vakra Samavit is 1566 to 1567. Shakashmat, which is an Indian calendar, it says it's, hold on. Where did it go? It's 1431 to 1432. And the Kali Yuga, now we know the goddess Kali is a demon that they worship, 4610 to 4611. Holocene calendar, it's 11,510. The Igbo calendar, remember the Igbo have Bantu roots, it's 510 to 511. When we keep telling people, man, I have told people, I don't know how many times, this is a matrix, that they have erased, or they have made people believe some things that haven't happened yet, that have already happened, so that you would think that you were saved when you're not. Okay. The Iranian calendar 888 to 889, the Islamic calendar 950. Now check this out. The Islamic calendar says 915 to 916. What are they counting? What are they counting? Okay, this is Islam. The Japanese calendar, I can't read it. It's Japanese. Japanese, it says it's 1472. The Julian calendar, however, agrees with the Gregorian, saying it's 1510. The Korean calendar is 3843. Mongol calendar 402. Nanshashi calendar 42. The Thai solar calendar 2052 to 2053. And if I remember correctly, that lined up with where's that one I saw? With the Buddhists. All right. So then the Tibetan calendar, the female earth snake, 1636 or 1255 or 483. The male iron horse, 1637 or 1256 or 484. So you have to kind of wonder when you see how these people, and then you got to understand now, but the whole world goes off of the Gregorian when it comes to interacting with the West. Why? Okay. The one that got my attention, though, is the Igbo. That it's 1,000 years off from what it's what did it say? Yeah, see, it's because it's supposed to be 1,510, and it's only 510. Okay. So you got to ask yourself this question: where are we, and what the times and seasons are? Because when it says that the dragon would change times and laws, that the imposter would change times and laws in Daniel, okay, this is when you got to ask yourself, how far did they go to put us into trouble with Tata, with the King Kongo, okay? Now I know the Kuso Kongo came in the form of Simantoko. We talked about that, and he started to show us that we were worshiping Nimrod. See, there's a lot of people that don't get that him and Kimbangu and others, they were really trying to show us that everything was off. Okay. And that was the whole concept, is that the wizard wanted you to miss the salvation, what allowed him to continue to be worshipped as the real God, Amun Ra. Okay. This is why many people don't even know that many biblical things have occurred, and you were given, the Most High has been giving the people a grace period. You have already crossed the threshold. I told people this. I said, look, the day, if it was in the real days of Noah, you should already have been hit by the flood already. People don't understand this, okay? This is how far Cain went to eradicate the knowledge of the Bana Betu of Isaele. This is how far the powers that be went to dumb you down. So when you're talking about the year 2024 or 2023, it's not even that. Okay? This is why we keep saying to people, the wizard has changed things. Many things have happened that should have already been done already because of what happened with slavery. The people who came out of it that were brought into the vow of silence. Okay, this is what people don't understand. Those who were given a vow of silence, their role was to play a part in changing the knowledge of history and changing what was in existence and teaching fallacies to the 20th century. I can only tell you that when you go back and you look at the early 20th century, you have been put to sleep. Because there were things that people had, things that people saw, things that people did that they erased it. There's a reason why they reprogrammed Native Americans to keep their mouth shut. Okay? Because, like I said, it was one continent. That's why they have this whole debate about, oh, African Americans are not African and blah, 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 and this and that. I'm like, you don't get it. Tata broke apart the continents because we were never supposed to keep, he wanted people to stay where he put them. Now, we could interact with each other, but that's not where we lived. Okay? And the kingdom of Kongo the Intotila was given authority over Canaan. But they didn't like that. That's why the Hamitic tribes, they went out of their way to destroy the teachers of Ensemble. And Yapeta, who used to be involved with them, they turned them over. And that's why when we talk about what happened, I'm going to get to the Book of Jubilee. This is how you're going to know the times were off so bad with the solar calendar that was invented by Rome. I'm going to share with you the screen and the teachings of okay, let me first get it over to the Book of Jubilee. We're going to get into this, people. I've been trying to tell folks, man, you got to be careful with how many people are not who they say they are. All right. So this is the Book of Jubilee. It talks about more about the feast days. They took this book out for a reason. It still has some modifications. This book throws off everybody. This is why I keep trying to tell you why. If you go by this calendar, we have already passed many of the events that they prophesied when it comes to what they told Christians. That's why when the whole event that took place with why they covered up the third secret of Fatima is because they didn't want to know the Christians to know this is the sign that made the whole earth mourn. When he said that there will be a sign and then the earth will mourn, okay, because this was symbolic of that scripture. And the reason why the whole earth was mourning is because it was World War One. And I broke down how many wars were going on, how many people were involved in it in 1917. Okay, and when this sign started, it was beginning the process. Why the earth would mourn is because now the dragon would begin to, like he says in the book of Revelation, he says he's going to get thrown down, and then he's going to say, woe unto the, because he's coming for a short time. That's why the world's been mourning, because when the sign came in 1917, the dragon was thrown down, okay, from his high perch with the other stars, and he had a third of the knowledge. And that's why the knowledge changed. Because if you go back and you do the story about what happened with education, okay, people were taught and on farms. They were taught by churches. They were taught, then all of a sudden it got put into this mainstream system, which if you go back, and I think I did the video, I think I shared it. I'm not sure if I didn't. If not, I'll pull it up, where it talks about, uh, how should I say this? The, it talks about how we have been played by the Luciferian elites and their agenda to imperialize the world and to make everything identical in order to profit from the inheritance that we sold to Esau. Okay, because what happened with King and Zinga is we sold our inheritance to Esau. You talk about lentils. Okay, people don't even know that the lentils are connected to this. During slavery, why were you eating mush and lentils? Because that was part of the deal to take us on. When they put us into captivity, we ate nothing but garbage because that's what Esau saw as when he's got the raw. It's like that's where you get the raw end of a deal comes from that exchange. I got the raw end of the deal here. Okay, raw is RA. They just put a W on the end. Okay, raw. We got the raw end of the deal, which means that just like what happened with the fallen angels and the dragon was kicked, the fallen angels were kicked out. They felt that they were given a raw deal. They say, "Hey man, what did we do wrong? We didn't want to bow down to this joker. Why did we get kicked out? Okay, this is a raw deal to us." And that's where the word raw comes into effect. The raw end of the deal. Okay, and this is why Shaitani now does the deal because of that. Okay, he feel he got shafted. He got shafted. Okay, this is when it's I got shafted. Now you gonna get shafted. And the way you got shafted is he changed everything. And this is why now they're gonna brag about it in the movie. Okay, everything got modified. That's why I told people, I'm like, man, you really don't know. Okay, there's a lot of people. Like I said, I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything. I'm still learning about my roots. I'm doing my best to understand the Mwana's teaching, but I'm also being sabotaged because it's getting to the point where now they see what's called the writing on the wall. What's the writing on the wall? Okay, your name is going on the list. Its time is up. Okay, it's like, whoa. So they're putting all their cards out on the table to show you that they lied to you. That joker was here yesterday. I had nothing to do with all that. But it's funny because Vesta, where he went, is the name of a demon. You know, the names that they use for the Congress people that get elected, it's not a coincidence. Her name is Bobert, man. I mean, you don't get where the word Bert comes from. Bert and Ernie is a mockery. People don't get they got all this stuff out there. Okay, uh, Elmo, Elimo. You guys got to understand your whole childhood is messed up because that's how the devil coded the fact that he messed you over for so many times that you don't even know. It's like your whole lineage has been brought to the pit of Apollyon because you chose the wizard over the Most High. You chose to believe the science garbage. You chose to believe the religious garbage. You chose to believe the education garbage. You chose to believe all of that. And yes, I'm calling it garbage because it doesn't get you anywhere. This is why, I know all the fraternities and sororities that listen to what I'm talking about, people, they're against me. Of course they are. Because they don't understand. It's like, no, you joined an org. There's a reason why they set it up with a council. And then you have to be initiated to get in there and be chosen. Why is it you think that people don't get in? Because you're a risk to their organization. It's like, no, can this person keep their mouth shut? Devour silence. It's all affiliated with this. You have to be chosen because you have been worthy of keeping your mouth shut. Because when they go to show you all this stuff, you're going to be like, wait, what? You don't understand why some people go to prison, why some people get set up for getting in trouble. Because this is such a big delusion out here. You don't understand. These people are chipped. They can't, man, I'm telling you, the chipper people, the chip comes from, the word chip comes from the bull, the cow pucky, okay? Because you're worshiping the cow, the holy cow. That's where the word chip come from. It's all garbage, okay? They understand this, that they are laughing at people because you're worshiping the holy cow. You're just not supposed to know that. And the holy cow worship has already caused you to break everything. That's why when you look at the people understand, you celebrating a festival that's getting ready. You got everybody house decorated. Everybody got everything ready. It's for Baal. It ain't got nothing to do with the creator. The birthday of the Messiah already happened. Okay? This is the wizard out here. And so now, with the kind of role that I have to play and to be a watchman and to be a revealer of secrets to the world, it's like you don't get it. You don't have anything to do with the true Messiah, like, because the role of the wizard is to destroy everything that he taught. That's the concept. While still making you think that you serve the creator. That's why you're always going to find these people out here that's going to sabotage because they want to work for the wizard. And it's like, hey, they want all the gifts that he showers them with and all the things that they get, and they want to achieve the goals that he set for them to what? Destroy the lineage. To destroy it. That's his job when he was there in the time when he was against the Messiah, even then, when they called him, you know, you don't understand, he was working with Yaounde Iscariote, okay? He was working with Saula that became Paula. That's how he knew these things, okay? He was behind the scenes of all of this stuff because the Caesar could not have a competitor. In his, where they controlled us, the Sanhedrin was working for the Caesar. They know because they came from that background in their history. Okay? Everything is about Cain and the deception. Everybody want to be on Cain's side, not the Most High side, but make you think you're not on Cain's side when you are. This is the sabotage. You're always going to be sabotaged by people working for Cain. It's pathetic how bad it can be, how bad it can get. This is why you want to talk about why people losing their mind. I saw this today. People going crazy while we're struggling right now to even fight against demonic realms because there's so much sorcery and witchcraft going on that's blocking people from seeing how blind they really are, that they don't even know. It talks about. So we talk about, it says, and they placed them, okay, and on the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the this is how I'm going to tell you, you got it all wrong, even with the Hebrew Israelites. The wizards is controlling them. And Noka and his sons observed it 7 jubilees, 1 week. See, this is what I'm trying to tell you. They already knew the festivals, people. Let's see. And it came to Noah and his sons a sign that there would not again be a flood on the earth. He set his bow on the cloud for the sign. This is why you see the bow, the shape of the bow, and they kind of covered. They use this for the, the bow and arrow. This is kind of how they do that rainbow thing. It's connected to this. A eternal covenant, Wiza, that there should not again be flood on the earth to destroy all the days of the earth. For this reason is ordained and written in the heavenly tablets that they should celebrate the Feast of Weeks. And this is where the Feast of Weeks comes from. In this 18 months once a year, to renew the covenant every year. Now, I'm going to tell you, we don't do this anymore. Unless you actually go sign some of them. I know some of them, they still do this. People who know these things, they still do it. But you have to understand, the flood you can still get flooding, they just won't destroy everything. Okay? These are curses upon people. 26 jubilees in 5 weeks a year, 1309 to 1659, and Noah and his sons observed for the 7 jubilees 1 week of years to the days of Noah, death from the day of Noah's death his sons did away with until the days of Bana. See, till the days of Noah, and from the day of Noah's death his sons did away with until the days of Bana, and they eat blood. But Abana observed it, and then Saka and Yakubi and his children observed. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a lie for Nsemu. No, he did not. He still Noka Nsemu, he still celebrated the right way. He was Mwanda Phil. It was Yapeta and Kami who did away with it. This is why the blood sacrifices started to come upon people. Okay? Now listen, it says it right here. Sorry, my neck is sore. I'm doing my sign and nothing. It says, until the days of Abana, they eat blood. Now, if you think about that time frame, you go back to Canaan and the Hamitic tribes and everything that was going on, the Kami and Yapeta, this is when the Tower of Babel comes into play. This is when the people started to worship the gods of Kaina. Okay? Now, but Abraham observed it, and Saka and Yakubi and his children observed it up to the days. And in the days of the children said, forgot it until they celebrated anew on this mountain. Now we talk about that's there's actually a song that says, I was listening to it, it said Kanya, how did it, oh man, I wrote it down. It was like, it said Kanyanza, it was something like Kanya Wiza, though. It was like something like that, where it was like they knew about it. And then Mosi, and then he says, and then this is what got my attention, because the Kwanzaa is the money for Angola. It said Kwanzaa. It said Kwanzaa, Tambula, Kwanzaa Tambula Nanzambi, or something like that. I was like, whoa, okay. So you know that Kwanzaa was ours. And that's where they coded it in the land of Angola, that they know that was really the money of the Southern Zombie. That was a part of the covenant. So then, so now, for to celebrate the festival, for in this Feast of Weeks and the Feast of First Fruit, the feast is twofold and a double nature. According to what is written and engraved concerning it, celebrated. For I have written in the book of the first law. See, I have written in the book of the first law. That's why we keep trying to tell people there was a holy book, Ankanda, before. And that which I have written for thee, that thou shouldest celebrate it in this season, one day in the year. And I explain this to thee as sacrifices the children, so they should remember and should celebrate it throughout their generations in this month, one day in every year. and on the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the fourth month, and on the new moon of the seventh month, and on the new moon of the 10th month are the days of remembrance, and the days of the season in the four divisions of the year. These are written and ordained as a testimony forever. Vula. And Noka ordained them for himself a feast of generations forever. See, this is what I'm going to tell you. This is why Christians don't get it. It's like this book is not in the Bible because they want the Bantu people to break this covenant always. And the Christians can't get salvation because they don't even follow it. That's why when they were coding it, that they, I saw how they were really coding this, but they were saying that in Christianity, when they go to get loans for their churches, you got to teach a certain, they have it set up to where this is how you teach. The laws have been done away with. God is white, Jesus is white, blah, blah, all, the Holy Spirit, everything, and all this stuff. But here's the problem. Even for the people trying to follow the Most High's days, this is why they have us still adopted to the Roman calendar. Because, let me show you this. In the Hanukkah calendar, the first day of the year, the first month is not January, nor is it March. I keep trying to tell people, he went by the, Adama calendar, okay? Because none of these things, the cycle does not go according to what they taught you. Okay, it went according to where the land of Canaan was, and the land of Canaan is that's why they covered it up. Okay. Actually, it was according to the center. That's why we say Kongo is the center. So where that started, this is where everything was, where the garden was. Everything started there. Okay. Let's see, hold on. Sorry, I got stuff in my beard. As a testimony, and Noko ordained them for himself as a feast for generations, that they should bear by memorial to him. Now, this is when in Fumu Yisu, when you go back to what he talked to the lady at the well, he said, it's going to come a time where you know your fathers on this mountain going to ever worship the Most High. This is why the wizard, the deceiver, this is why his role is to make sure you don't know it. This is when Tata Nzambi talks about, if you choose to go away from my way, then I don't remember you or your children. So this is why it says, well, if he got upset with his children from disobedience, then why would he let the heathens come along and say that they accept Jesus Christ and they can do whatever they want? No, it's a lie. You cannot just go and set up your own feast days and your own calendars and do these different things and now say, I'm holy. There's no way, because everything was done for a reason. Okay? All right. So then, now watch this. So that they became therefore, and on the new moon in the first month, bidden to make for himself an ark, and on that day the earth became dry, and he opened and saw the earth, and on the new moon of the fourth month, see, you don't even understand that some of these things were set up from the ark itself. The months of the depths of the abyss beneath were closed, and on the new moon of the seventh month, all of the mouths of the abyss of the earth were open, and the waters began to descend into them. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mouths were seen, and Noko was glad. And see, when we went into Ingipity, when it was the time when Yosef got sent into captivity, okay, we were celebrating this. This is why when Mosi found out, wait a minute, I'm a Jew, or I'm a Bantu, I'm a Bayuda, when he found out, he's like, I didn't know who I was. He was so angry because what he found out was what? He had been disobeying. He had been living in disobedience. All along he thought he was in obedience, and he was in disobedience. And what the world does not understand is you have gone back to the ways of the cycle that was done through the Egyptians and the Babylonians' teachings. And you don't understand, you are completely off of the way the Creator set up his times and seasons for people to learn. And the Messiah himself said, I didn't come to change this, but to be the one that allows you to be the spiritual temple that allows you to fulfill it. Okay? So through him, your connection to Kuswa Kongo, you fulfill the covenant that was done even in the flood and even before when Adama fell. Okay? And this is what people don't understand, that the wizard doesn't want you to understand. That's why he wants you to be on his side and get you to do the things that because see, this is when we talk about how the wisdom was passed down. It was written down. It could be they talk about the Malongo bone, the Balongo bone, or it could be written down. We call it that's why it was called. They say Kisi. It was when they said it, it was like they said something like Kanya Kisi Yimbila. Okay, so Kanya Kisi Yimbila. So then it's like you're the power comes, and that's why when Tata Nzambi gave Adama his clothes and he gave him his weapons and he showed him what to do, he passed this knowledge down, and this was always good knowledge, never bad. Okay, it would become tainted whenever we mixed it with the God of good and evil, and the people don't get the difference. Okay, so all the good knowledge, you got to know the difference between what knowledge is good and what knowledge is bad, and you gotta take the bad knowledge out. This is why they have overwhelmed you with so many frequencies and so many different things that you don't even know how to discern what the knowledge is I'm receiving. It has to be good knowledge, cannot be bad. Okay, because what that does is it always is going to cause you to deal with emotional distress and issues in your life that you don't comprehend. Why is this stuff starting to happen to me? So if you want to get upset about the fact that you went to so much high school, college education, this type of thing that they have conditioned people to believe is going to make you a person in this world, this is all part of the whole concept of the sorcerer needing to destroy, to do his job, to destroy the connection of those who are a threat to him. Because that's why the Bakongo, the Bayuda, the Abantwe, we are a threat to the wizard when we walk in the way of Tatanzambi. Because why? His power goes away, our power increases. So then what he had to do was get people to make deals to keep our inheritance flowing away from us. Okay, and this is the whole concept. And then if you catch him, oh no, this is wrong. If you catch him, he's gonna come up with an excuse, or he's gonna say, or you're behaving like this, or you're acting like that. Why? Because then you're gonna understand. This is why people go to prison and got busted for money and drugs and all this other stuff, because the concept was the wizard's acting like he's trying to be the good guy, when in reality you've been set up to take the fall for being the wrong lineage. Okay, you're being set up for this. Okay, so now you're out here turning on Yakubi, killing Yakubi, going to jail for Yakubi, robbing from Yakubi, doing the worst things to each other. Okay, thinking that you're right when you're wrong, because the wizard's job is to keep you from your power and goal. Okay, so now it says here, all the children so they will forget. Now watch this. And all the children of Israel, we talked about, Israel is the wizard. Okay, Isaele is who? Isaele is the us. Will forget and will not find the path of the years, and will forget the New Year's seasons and Sambwadi, Sabbath. Okay, Sabbath is a word that comes from Sabat is the wizard. Sambwadi, Sabatu, Sabanwadi is us, Sabatane. Okay, so it says, and the children of Israel will forget. Now, this would happen when? When did we start to forget? Because, see, this is the biggest lie that people don't understand. When we were in Gipity, we still remembered these times, but we were not allowed to practice it. Okay, when we went to Persia and Greece took over, even when Rome took over, we were still practicing our way, but it was tainted because we were under the rule of false teachers. So they were using it. They were perverting the temple, not honoring it. Okay. Now, when would we, even in the time when Rome came and destroyed the cities and the Sanhedrin, because the wizard he's part of the reason why the war took place. Okay. When Nero decided to say that we were bad, it was elevating the followers of the sorcerer who would now become the Christians, and it was demoting the Abantwe who would become the troublemakers. That's what they were doing, okay? So Abantwe would diminish, Christianos would increase, and this is the one that the Sol Invictus worshippers would be the ones that were valued over the people who were not worshiping Sol Invictus, and that's what people don't understand, okay? So you would forget the Feast of Covenant, and some of us did, but see, many of us did not. When did we begin to forget the covenant feast? Is after what happened with Rome 500 years ago. When the Bantwe, that whole concept of our way of living would start to be broken up into pieces in the very different versions of the westernized Christians, but was still being known to, many of some of the Islamic practices were familiar with it, but they're going back to the wizard. They're not going to the Most High, okay? So now it says, and will walk according to the feast of the Gentiles. See, like I told people, you think they never knew we were going to mess up? It says, and will walk according to the feast of the Gentiles after their error and after their what? Ignorance. See? So now, what Rome did was put the Gentiles into ignorance. When the Church of Laodicea took over and the Flavian Empire and all these other things started to happen, when Nero would begin to do what? Incorporate the pagan worship with the Bantwe. So then what would happen with us? As we got tricked by the wizard, we now started to do what? Follow the feast days of the impostor. Okay? We argued against this for years, and we ran away from it, and we kept running away until finally one day they got us because we argued when the Most High brought us together in the kingdom of Kongo and said, there's a lady who talked about how the kingdom started, and when the Mwene was defeated by the king, and I forget his name now, but the problem was he was now the placeholder. His job was to bring back the way to our people and reestablish the proper path to Tatanzambi. But there was the argument that kept going on with the priests over the status of the temple. And he kept trying to tell them, it's like, we are the spiritual temple. Our bodies are the spiritual temple of the living God. Okay? And that's how it's supposed to be. But we're always distorted with the concept we need to see a physical building too, like the heathens are. Okay? And that's why we don't understand the Most High is in the earth. He's in the nature. He's in every creation, but you don't worship it. This is what the heathens do. This is what they've always done. Okay? And they're still doing it today in their ignorance. They don't even know why they're putting up a Christmas tree. And if you tell them why, oh no, my pastor said that's a lie. Of course, because the pastor works for the wizard. Okay? The same thing about the obelisk. Oh no, that's just this. Of course they're going to say that because the obelisk is the wizard. Okay? Of course they're going to say these things. Oh no, that cross is not pagan. Of course not, because that's the wizard's cross. Okay? So he's going to tell them, no, it's not pagan. All right? Because the concept is it's about the destruction of the moon to not walk in the way of Nzambi and Pungu the way they're supposed to, and to sabotage anyone who does. Even yourselves, your causes to sabotage each other. Okay? This is how he works. This is one of the things that, like, he got the disciples arguing. Why? Okay? Even about what Kongo said. Because that's the concept. There cannot be unity or kintwari among the Bana Betu. No way. For there will be those who will assuredly make observation of the moon. Yeah, that's the symbol for Islam. How it disturbs the season and comes from year to year. This is why people go, they do the moon cycles. You have the moon cults, okay? For these reasons, they will come upon them and they will disturb the order and make an abominable day of the testimony and an unclean day of the feast. And they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean day with the holy, for they will go wrong to the months and Sabbaths and feasts and jubilees. For this reason, I command and testify that thou mayest testify to them. For after thy death, thy children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason, they will go wrong as to the new moons and seasons and Sabotage and festival, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. Boom. Why do you think we're eating food that we ain't supposed to be eating now? And they're saying, oh yeah, the Messiah, we can eat whatever we want. Okay? There's an issue with this. Okay? Yeah, I mean, we don't have condemnation over people who mess up. And the Messiah said that. It's like, if you eat a pork and you ain't gonna mess up. Okay? What he was saying is that you don't do, you do according to the Most High's way. Okay? And obey the Spirit. And when you do these things, the Most High will have no problem with you. And the Mwanda is designed to where when you're in the right spirit, the Mwanda is not going to make you do anything the Most High doesn't like. No way. It's not possible. The Holy Spirit knows Tatanzambi. So the Mwanda Velala, the Holy Spirit is not going to do anything that Tatanzambi doesn't like. No way. Because when you do the things that Tatanzambi doesn't like and the Spirit doesn't like, then you do what? You grieve the Mwanda Velala. You grieve the Holy Spirit. Okay? But what has happened to us is the sorcerer will always sabotage you to make you come and do things that will cause you to make the Most High angry. Okay? Why? Because you're surrounded by those who work for him in secret. That's why you have to watch what they do. They don't want to go back to the King Kongo. No. They'd rather go stick up their middle finger or whatever they want to do or curse him out or whatever, for those who know what I'm talking about. Okay? Behind your back. They don't want to go back to him. They want to work for the wizard. But they're not going to tell you because everything's a shh. Okay? There's 300. That's why I just showed you. The 364 cycle, when you keep doing these modifications like what Rome has done, of course you're going to skip forward so many years. It's going to be the wrong years and everything. When you keep counting this stuff wrong for so long, it's going to be off. Why did they do that? Because the devil wanted to trick the world that they have time to be saved when they're out of time to be saved. And they never were. You spending all this money for the wizard who could never save anybody. Now he's bragging about it. Oh, I fool you. You've been celebrating all of this stuff that has nothing to do with Tata at all. King Kongo, okay? This is why they didn't want Toko to be on the scene telling these stuff, because it's like, hey, if you start giving away the secret that we played these people, it's going to fix the problem. It's going to expose the wizard, and it's going to make us look bad. We can't have that. The leaders must, that's what I'm trying to tell people. The whole world cannot function without the showman when it comes to the people that run it. The showman is in charge. That's why they have to make all these double people and you don't even know about these clones, because they always run into his rituals to get instruction on what do we do next? How do we do this? What are we going to do? They always get in this instruction. They rehearse these things over and over, and how we're going to teach the people this and how we're going to teach the people that. You don't get it, okay? Because it's all about one purpose. Nobody is going to take down the wizard. I'm going to stay on top. This is why I want to teach this evolution nonsense. This is why I want to teach this historical nonsense. This is why I want to teach the fact that he changed himself from a black god to a white god. People don't understand this concept. This is why he wanted to, you don't understand, I manipulate black, white, Asian, all people of all colors. This is what the scripture was even trying to talk about when it says, the spirit will what? Make the harlot will do what? Make the nations drunk with the wine. He assists with this process. Because that woman, and I'm going to talk about it, we're going to go to, she's going to say it right here. Let's see. There it is. We're going to go back to this. And she ain't lying about this. I'm going to read the whole thing, and then I'm going to end it with this. Okay? The Lost Book of Lilith. Perhaps it's a steady read to the one that will shock you. Often the people with the loftiest thoughts have formed them in the shadows. Descendants, however, like to think that their ancestors as clean. So some things are left out of history. Boom. Some things are left out of history for a reason, yes, because they had to make it look like the Europeans come from and not just Europeans, but all of these different civilizations. They gotta look like, oh, we come from this, we come from that. Yeah, and our own people, the same problem. The Bana Betu, black people have done some of the worst things to each other. You don't even know. And they're still doing it. Especially Bantu people. Okay? Should I dispel the myth? Come out from my guises and admit that creation is not as easy as you would believe? Are you prepared to entertain more than the idea of one woman and one man and one woman? Of course, they're going to tell you that. My life began in the garden. Okay, remember the Kongo word for. Don't think she don't know how to speak Kongo, people. She knows Bantu languages fluently. Kilanga. She know how to speak Kongo fluently. You better believe it. My life began in the Kilanga, not a tended one with flowers and neat roads, but a dynamic wilderness where earth was still struggling to pull itself away from water. Remember how the Most High talks about the day when he made that the earth, when remember he said the land come out of the water, when there was water among the waters, and then the earth was coming out. Okay? This is the time she's talking about it. This is why evolution is crap, garbage, because she created, this is the person behind evolution. This is the spirit. Okay? The plants were various, but alike in their newness. We came in, remember we talked about, and there's people who revealed this, and I know y'all talked about it, male and female. Everything is male and female. Okay? We came into being in the same instant, made from the same fire and air. When we first turned to regard each other, his feet were planted in soil and mine in water. This is why she's the mother of the water spirits. This is why we call her Mami Wata. This is why she's Calypso. This is why she's the heart. You got to be careful with the mermaid spirits. This is why it started with this. She was the demon of the waters. When we first turned, when we stood close, but still the boundary between the elements was clear. We stayed so long. Now people keep talking about the age of Aquarius, which is the way of water. Okay, there's good and bad spirits in the water. There's good and bad spirits on the earth. Mother Nature is her. Okay, you don't get it. She's Mother Nature. We stayed a long gaze at one another that our eyes did what language later would. He was spectacular to behold, the expansive flat chest, sharp green eyes. So see, Adama had green eyes, dark skin, brown like her. Okay, Adama got, that's why I said Kuso Kongo had green eyes, but it turned fire. Okay. Look at him. This is where you get the emerald stuff from. Looking at him contained elements of looking at a reflection, but I knew that he was different from me. See, I knew that he was different from me. My first moment of being was intertwined with his first moment of being. Finally, he said, I am Adama. And she said, Lilith, I am. That's why you're going to see when people say, I am, you see what she say? Lilith, I am. That's why she's the one that claimed to be I am and not Adama. I said and stepped out of the water towards him. Adama jumped back. I'm Lilith saying, standing still and staring at him. He said, I see. This is my, Lilith says, I see. Like my Amona. He said, circling around my body and inspecting me. I turned quickly, placed my hands on his shoulders, and walked him backward to the water. When his feet touched the water, they slipped out from under him, and he was floating. He looked about himself quizzically and showed all the signs of being uncomfortable. I dove down and began to push myself through the water. Where are you going? See, she's swimming. Adama called out to me out there. I yelled back to him, Lily, come back. Lily, it would have been, get rid of the H. Remember I said that's her son name. She put that there for these people. And it would be Kikongo Lily. We dropped the T. That's the rule. I returned, although I wasn't finished, and went with the Earthman back to his land. On the dry part of the island, we continued our exploration. We lay in the pale green meadows, ate sweet, fleshy fruits whose seeds stuck in our teeth, and followed up 4 rivers in the hope of finding their end. See, I'm telling you, man, she knows where the garden is. That's why she don't want people to know. And see, when you come to the wizard who comes into the picture later, well, technically, no, correct myself. He was already there because he was the fallen angel. Gadriel or whatever, Samyaza. When it comes to the wizard, okay, his job is to make sure that he interferes with all of the plans of Tatanzambi to rule, have his people rule in the right way. All right. I returned, although I wasn't finished, and went to my earthman. On the dry part of the island, we continued. We lay. When the darkness fell, I felt more at ease in the garden, Chilonga. Great great possibility lurked between the shadows of the taller trees. I got up to run into the night. Now remember, these people are big. They ain't short. They're like almost 9 feet, 10 feet tall. Okay, they're not short like how we are now. Okay, to run into the night, greet what we wait for. Adama took him. Wait for the lights, she said. He said, his voice causing the night to be darkened. His voice causing the night to be darkened. See, he commands everything. Like we said, we have dominion. We command things. He advised patience with such authority that I assumed he saw things which I did not see. He's a Mayamona. See, and she is not. That's why you got it. She got to use the. That's why she don't see everything. She got to make a prediction. Okay, this is the oracle stuff. When the lights emerged from the darkness, behold, a motion that seemed beyond my form. So many small lights come out of the blanket of darkness that when the great orb appeared, Adam and I turned to each other and held one another's warmth and arms. We smelled the earth rose to us. I have a story to tell you, Adam says, stroking the hair of my face, stroking the hair out of my face. On the fourth day of creation, before we came into being, Tatanzami made two great orbs. The bright, brilliant one is called the sun and is male, like me. All right, let's go. The sun. Tangu. This is why we say uh, Tatanzami and Tangu Yoso, because he's like the sun, okay, male. This is why we say it's the sun is a Maleki. Okay. The brilliant one, like the orb is called the moon. She is a woman who changes her mind all the time. In the beginning, the sun and the moon were equal and stayed in the sky together all the time. But the moon was jealous of the sun's radiance and began to speak badly of him. So now you're seeing where the Most High's creation had to be good, right? And we're saying that's why we keep saying no one is good but the Father. That the Maleki of the moon, okay, because who would be involved with this? Because the prince of the air is the wicked one, right? Why would the moon become jealous of the sun? Okay, this has got to be something that would be caused by who? Shaitani and his interference. Okay. When the Creator heard her words, he hurled her down from her original height. See, if you go back to the book of Hanoka, it talks about this when Tatanzambi was saying, when something is not in obedience to his will, he's going to make you go lower. This is why they say, oh, well, the moon is closer to the earth than the sun. They don't sit in the same orbit, but they're not what the scientists are teaching you because she know the story, see? That's why they're teaching the NASA mess because she's the NASA. Okay? She fell into night over which she still reigns. When she fell, the tiny threads of light were loosened from her body. These are the stars. Now remember, we told you, stars are Malekis. But the bigger stars, the angels, the Maleki Kongo, the high ones, they are above all this, okay, in the firmament. I looked at the sky and found that Adama's story was true. But now when the Most High judged this woman, she's going to be connected to the moon deceiver, okay? That's what happened to her. All right.
illuminated the night and breathed. She dispersed the blanket of darkness into play in light and shadow. The hidden aspects of the God. Yeah, because see, when Tata Zombie gonna judge her, she gonna make people worship the moon and the sun. That's what's gonna happen. We aren't supposed to do that. The stars stone Adam and the stars. And Adama and I slept by side, draped over me. I felt where his breath began and it traveled into me. My breath reached out of me and likewise entered. We lay together a cycle of breath until the night orb was replaced by the day one. I remember that night, that the next day, as the golden time, I'm not sure it was time, but then longer and more fluid, okay? Or if my memory elongated, what transpired when the day arose, I opened my eyes slowly. Our bodies were warm and unified, still whole after the darkness. At that moment, there was nothing beyond the embrace. The garden was inside of us. The beauty and connection which surrounded us made us up. When we stood, we were embraced by the garden and held together in morning. Exploring the terrain. All right, I know this is kind of a lot to read, but um, this is the concept of where challenge starts to begin. And remember, she's already being manipulated by the dragon. She don't even know. Exploring the terrain of garden, the pool interspersed throughout the garden suggested the water was inside me. The trees created a shade which pointed a shadow within. Tasting the fruits was tasting Adama, and the earth under our feet was the stuff of our bodies. See, that's how they knew we come from the earth. The hum of the insects and animals was the rhythm of our thoughts. My sense of being one component of a complex system filled me with security. When I close my eyes, I can easily recall the garden, but the feeling of being inside of one that was not that, but the feeling of being inside of it, one that I suspect will not return. Why? Because she got kicked out. Okay. The problems began the next day when Adama began the task of naming things. That morning, he did not lie still gazing at me. He told me that the Tanzambi had commanded him to bring order to the garden through names. I laughed and told Adama what that to name things would separate them, impose division. See, this is why you see how she's starting to think like, okay, I want to do it my way, not his way, because she's already disobeying the Most High right here. I laughed and told Adam before I didn't hadn't been sure, but now I knew that Adama and I came from two separate forces working together. So now she realizes I didn't come from Tatanzambi. She came from who? The imposter. Okay? Came from two separate forces working together. So she realizes now, I think I came from the one who wouldn't bow down to you, which is who? The stupid one. He said, I'm better than the Most High. We were the wizard. We were different beings with divergent forms and purposes. The creatrix had never said anything to me about the creatrix had the creatrix. See, tricks. This is why tricks are for kids. Had never seen anything about me named. I found the idea absurd. Why would she do that? Because she's in the wrong spirit. Adama stared at me, proposing challenge. You are a woman. Well, he would have said it like this. You are a woman. In Kento. He would call her in Kento, not woman. Okay, you're in Kento. You are calling Kento. We are using the words to talk about words that I knew that really say nothing to me. The sounds meaning, because he is Muntu, she's in Kento. Okay. Your names will not change things, I said definitely, and raised one side of my mouth in the smile. Adama's gaze turned from a seductive to serious. I have a job to do. There's a system to create. Remember, that's why Tatanzami said we are the ones who are responsible for his creation, see? And she's trying to say, I looked around at the low-hanging trees and high-reaching races. A system was at work all among us. Adama, you are trying to grasp things that which cannot be held. He looked at me with fury. You do not understand. You are in Kento. Adama walked away and went about the task of naming. It was apparently foolish to me, his labor. I went to one of the pools to bathe. As I swam, I searched the waters for what the creatrix intended for me. I moved through the water. As the water moved in its current, this surrender and exchange was that the garden expected from me. When I finished swimming, I lay in the shore of the water. See, this is where swimming comes from. Her. She's the one always swimming. When you talk about the sport of swimming, that's why. This surrender exchange was the garden expect. I lay in the shore of the water. My body absorbed the sun. I thought of how Adam and I could be like the sun and wind wrapping themselves together. In Kento, there you are lying down the way you're supposed to be, he said. I opened my eyes and saw the rich tones of his skin gleaming. The curves of his body appeared rounded and smooth. The embodiments of Eden. I'm lying, I answered it. Am I lying? I answered him. You lie down and I will lie on top of you. No, he said, you lie down and I'll be on top of you. I looked and lifted. You lie under me and I lie on top of you. That is the way the system works. From what I had heard from the system is ridiculous. Why did the garden need names? And why did I, who got to be on top and who on the bottom, have to rule? Why don't we work together and make this system? This is what you talk about when they say we should be the type of unity that they're talking about. It's like there's a certain order of things, okay? But you can't be, the devil has really taken it a whole nother level. But so now what's going to happen is eventually she leaves, okay? And they're telling her to come back. So when the morning Sanvi and Sansavai were standing over me, Semangloff had retreated to the darkness of the cave. Sanvai shook his head from me. You had a decision. Now the child that grows inside you will be a demon. But that will not be enough. Your appetite can never be quenched, and so you will wander looking for Muntu. Now I'm going to tell you, her son is Enlil. And then, of course, Inky came from after that. This is going to be Enlil. Okay? The Anunnaki. This is where it starts. Actually, wait, I'm trying to think if it's Nergal. No, it's Enlil. He's the oldest. This is the first Anunnaki. Okay? He brought sounds. I just wonder, he wrapped around me. So see now, what you're going to see is this is a child that comes from, hold on. I woke in the distinct feeling that I was not alone and saw three figures standing above me from the heat they emanated. I knew they were not human beings like the earth man. They were made of other stuff. The first one, small, dark, and intense, stepped forward. See, the Maleki Kongo were dark. I told you. Lilith went, angels were dark. Where do you think you are? In my cave. How do you know me? We are messengers of God, to the zombie. See now, Mbasi. So now you see why she dwells in the caves. And this is why it happened when Mama Eva got messed up with Shaitani later on with her, what happened with Kaina. And I drew up my legs and sat up, and he continued. And he said, bowing his head, he pointed San Sanvai and Semagloff. Sanvai leaned on toward me. He was very beautiful with rich brown skin, long dark hair. He smelled of sage. Lilith, you must return to the garden which was created for you. R4 is and see smell clearly. Sweet Maliki, I cannot return. Adama's pride requires my submission. See, she don't want to be submissive. Sansanvai did not answer. Instead, someone emerged from the back of the cave, the darkest part. Tall and gracefully thin, there was something mystical promised in the blue eyes, and blue of his eyes. So he had blue eyes, but he was a dark angel. I knew that he was not as beautiful as Sansva, yet I was more drawn to him. He was difficult to behold because of the fierce energy which surrounded him. And some, see here we go, Simangloff, which is where we get Siemi, Simo. Simangloff seemed agile and lived faster than the wind. He prepared his long arms out of the front of him and he spoke, tone with intentions when clear. If you do not come back to the garden, you'll become a demoness out here on your own. See? Something about the way he said it charged me that Adama initially challenge had made. Fine, I answered matter of factly. I'll become a demoness and you can stay with me. See? So now she decided on that time, I am going to be a demoness. This is why people don't get it. Like that, the day passed again, it was night. Sanvai and Sansavai vaporized and was just me and that being made of fire. Where Adama had held me in his arms, Simongloff really touched me. His head hung above mine and our tongues twisted around each other in the manner of snakes. Now you see where French kissing comes from. The angel's hands moved over me from the neck, shoulders to breast to stomach, and into my abyss he brought sounds of no less wondrous than the name of the centrics from inside me. My legs wrapped around his, and he entered me. Adama had been so wrong. Some things were nameless. Simongloff and I turned into pure light and shot up into the heavens while we moved around and through each other. He spoke to me in a strange tongue. Though I could not understand, I was moved. My body felt as if it had been created a second time, and when I lay beside him, I confess I did not know. How could you have my she-devil? And I did not know, how could you have my she-devil, he asked, while putting his palm on my forehead. When it was morning, Sanvai and Sanzavai were standing over me again, and Simongloff had retreated to the darkness of the cave. Sanzavai shook his head at me. You had a decision. Now the child that grows inside of you will be a demon. That's why I keep trying to tell people the devil became her husband with this child. This is the first Anunnaki that came into being, that started to trick us and was involved with Kaina. Okay? This is who he worshiped, the dead gods. And then Adama got tricked into doing this too. And then it says, you will unleash into the world. Now it says here, your appetite can never be quenched. It says, okay, so you had a decision. Now your child would be a demon, but that will not be enough. Your appetite can never be quenched, and so you will wander looking for men to father your demon children, which you will unleash into the world and not be satisfied. It can never be him again, and so you will search, and they will come to you, men of this world and of the darkness. Your race will live on the earth alongside Adama's, but they will never belong to you. Okay? So this is the curse that I try to tell people, she has a race of people, and the Most High has a race. Okay? But her children will always belong to the wicked one. Okay? But at the same time, they serve the interests of the enemy to destroy us, the Bana Betu, because she hates this curse. Okay? So now, I stayed in the cave and went out during the days to swim in the sea. In the evening, my cave was quiet. The still of the sea at sunset blew to introduce night. At this time, the melancholy began. The sense of solitude moved from my head to my cavity of my chest and rang. The place where desert meets water was my freedom. Yet the freedom came loneliness. It's not that I expect him to return even when I was happening. When I was filled with such pleasure, I knew it to be ephemeral. We would burn together, that he would be gone. It's not that I wanted to live with him as I had with Adama. Simonglav and I were made of different elements. The togetherness was a fluke of timing and boldness. It was not to be reproduced, except in my child, which grew inside of me and was born in the cave, half dark angel and half dark angel, black, dark angel, and half demoness. Okay. After I gave birth, I lay back to the rest of my baby inside me. In the back of the cave, I felt Semenglav's presence, observing his child. I knew he was there, and he knew that he was there, so nothing needed to be said. I was pleased that we were all together, even in Semenglav hiding like that. But then the thing that angers me occurred, the event which makes me curse all the angels even today. Samvai appeared and spoken in a strange tongue with Semenglav he uttered the night he spent together. Hold on a second. Oh, man. When Semenglav had spoken it, the language was soft and seductive, but Samvai's words were sharp and harsh. I did not know the words, so you can tell they're speaking the Chiluba, and I guess she spoke. I would say the language that it's what they now speak in ancient Samaria was that language. His voice, but I now spoke Simba scolding, but Simvai's words were sharp and harsh. But I knew that Simvai was scolding Semenglav. His voice woke up my child who started to cry. I turned over to my baby to hold my baby, but before my arms could wrap around him, Simvai snatched him up. Oh woman, unnatural, you made the decision. Unlike the daughters of the earth, you will not keep your children. And then all of them were gone, the child, the thief, and the angel. This is the sound of loneliness, a sound like when the waves come lap on the shore and sun slips. Hold on 1 second. Let me pause this. I don't know who this is. All right, sorry about that. I thought it was some other person that had to talk to me, but it was something else. So, what you got to understand is why this is not in the Bible. Why do they keep this a secret? Why do people not understand these things? What is this about? Okay. Because they know, as you saw when she said she cursed all the angels. Okay. Bantu people, and this is the concept. Bantu people, the Bakongo, the Benanzambi, the Bene Isolile, Bana Betu are supposed to be like Maliki Kongo, angels. Okay? We are supposed to be above, like Adama. That's why Yusuf Kristu told us when he taught the Most High way, he said, you will be Mpangi, Leki, brothers, like me, to do the Most High's way and teach the nations to do so. Why does she have a problem with this? Because she blamed Tatanzambi for what happened to her. But you notice that she said, my decision. So it's like, wait a second. All the world has to experience your wrath. You made the choice. See, this is always the problem that people don't get. It's like we are living in those who hate Tata Nzambi for their own choice. When Shetani decided not gonna bow down to Adama, that was his choice. Okay. So now that's the issue, that why Tata Nzambi is so frustrated with us, because he's like, we had a choice. Like it talks about in the scriptures of Isaiah. Okay, and I'm going to go into the scripture like it talks about it, in Jubilee. That's why when you look at, where is it? Ezekiel 34. Let's talk about this. Okay, the word of Adonai, Tata Nzambi, came to me, Muntu, prophesy against the shepherds of Isaele. Why? Tell them, remember this is Ungungudi, the shepherds, says that woe to the shepherds who feed themselves. Shouldn't the shepherd feed the sheep? This is a choice. Just like you got the people standing up there preaching another Jesus that didn't exist. You got the imams up there talking about Allah. You got all these people talking about whatever they believe. It's a choice to say that we're going to ignore the real God and keep talking to Amen Ra or whatever God you believe in, but you don't understand if this is part of this deception. We're going to keep going along with how we believe. It's a choice. That's why Tata Kongo says the choices that you make will cause you to what? Fail. Go down. Be lower. That's why when you go to the correct interpretation of Mateo, when he said, and I'm going to end it here because it's too long. He says, Mateo, it's Mateo. I believe it's Mateo 11:11. Go to the, and I'm gonna get into the gospel of truth next time. I think it's gospel of Kongo, by the way. All right, let's go to 10:10, Mateo. See, this is what you got to understand. He summoned the 12 of his disciples and authorized them to cast out unclean spirits and to heal every kind of disease and illness. Now, the names of these 12, okay, it talks about them. And also what? To raise the dead. That's why he even said, don't go unto the Somalian villages or do not travel with the pagans, but instead go to the house and the sheep of the Isolele. And as you preach, saying the sanctuary of the Nzambi is readily available. See, heal the sick, cleanse the leper, raise the dead, and cast out demons. Freely you have received, now freely give. And this is the unmodified version, so much, where it says, do not carry gold or silver or copper in your money belts. Do not carry a bag or two coats or shoes or staff, for one who works is worthy of food. Once you enter the village or town, ask who is worthy and stay there until you leave. That's why you have to understand. You don't just teach the Most High's way, and I'm learning this myself. Okay? I'm supposed to preach to Cain to tell them that they've been lied to, but I understand that. Okay? But when people want to talk about, that's why when I have a conversation with people, I can tell that they're worthy or not. That's why the Most High said, this is the biggest problem we're having. We have taught the truth to people who are not worthy. They may think they're worthy, but they don't understand. It's like, no, that means that when you're worthy, it means that you are someone the Most High knows is going to try to fight for him and not continue to go to the wizard for your help. Okay? That's why in 11:11, this is probably where they get the number. When you go to Matthew 11:11, I got it wrong. But that's Johanna the Baptista. Matthew 5. I had sheep instead of children. All right. So like he says in 19, whoever shall break one of these instructions and teach people in this way. See, this is what you got to talk about. You got instructions, right? For truly I say unto you, until heaven and earth perish, not one jot will perish from the scripture, until all is accomplished. Whoever shall break one of these instructions and teach people in this way shall be invited last into the sanctuary of the spiritual realm. Whoever teaches them shall be preeminent in the sanctuary of the spiritual realm. For I say that to you that unless your devotion surpasses that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will not obtain the sanctuary of the spiritual realm. Okay? That's the biggest deception that's going among the people who have been taught pagan beliefs, because they are no different than the Pharisees who have shut up the connection to the Most High. Again, you are supposed to look like you work for the God, you worship the God of Bana and Saka, Yakubi, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You're supposed to look like it, but you're not actually supposed to do it. Okay? So the whole world has been deceived and been built on the concept and been taught on the concept of only having what? Half of the truth. Half, not even half in many cases. Thinking they have it and they don't, not even close. And they're teaching people, they're breaking the Most High's, it talks about what it says in Jubilee. You're not even going by the months and all that, but you're teaching people to go after feast days that they, like he said, that the Gentiles created of themselves. And now they think that they're holy. It's like, no, your feast days are man-made because of what happened with Lilith and Caina and all these other people who turned to the side of Baal. That's why I told people, it's like, you don't understand what you worship. Salvation was always supposed to come from the Bayuda, the Abantwe. That's it. You can teach that way, but you have come through them to do it. And our people did not understand you must become the spiritual Zoan Zombie Temple of Davidi and not the physical one. You see? But anyway, I'm going to end there. I'm going to put some music on. Once again, I don't have the rights to this music. I don't own the song. It's not for me to redistribute in any way. It's only for the edification of this channel, and it's only for the purpose of raising up our people in this time. Our praises in Gita Hallelujah by Yitin Kosi. If you can't hear it, I'll try to post it. But you should. See, that's what the Tokwis and the Kimbangus are supposed to be doing. Is exactly what Jubilee talks about. Restoring us back to the 364 of Hanukkah and to those feast days. That's what Toko came to do. We need to go back to how it was when we were worshiping the Most High in spirit and in truth. And quit teaching the way of the wizard. You cannot, if you keep teaching the way of the wizard, you're always going to be lost. The King Gunza is the way that Tatanzambi and Kongo. You must be connected to the Ganganzambi, Ukulu Kulu, Ukuswa, Yufumu Yisu. Not to no wizard pretending to be nothing. He's now boasting that he deceived so many generations that you don't even know where you're going. You're not going anywhere near the Most High. And that's why those of us like me, I gotta be sabotaged. They want to come after me. They want to do all this other stuff because it's exposing them. Oh well, they chose to lie and keep us in the captivity. We didn't need this money system at all. We didn't need it at all. Bana, Betu, deceiver. We never needed it. We had the wealth already. We sold our inheritance for nothing. We got nothing in return. And the wizards got everything. And we now sharing and thinking that we're blessed, and you're cursed. In the eyes of the Creator, you are cursing yourself. And he's using the emotional stuff that he creates, the good and the bad stuff, pretending to act like he cares. He don't care. It's all about him. That's why people have a narcissistic mentality. And even when they do care, which is always good to do good, but who are you benefiting? Katanzambi or Sol Invictus? Because that's all there is. Are you encouraging the good and removing the bad, or are you doing the good and the bad together and calling the bad good? That's not a shepherd. That's a wolf in sheep clothing. And you're bringing that upon your family members, and you're bringing curses and everything. That's why we're living in highly witch and sorcery world. Witchcraft, sorcery, you can't even see it. So thick, you cut it with a knife, if you could see the spells running through the air. All over the place. From those who hate the Most High. You have all of these leaders. Even America was built off of a lie. All the people who founded America worship Amun Ra. Don't tell me they worship Tata and Kongo. No way. You would have known who it was then. You don't even know. Well, they weren't worshiping Tata Kongo. You would have known his name then. The Knights of Malta, they removed all of this stuff. And then, of course, they're still buying us off to work with the wizard. It's ridiculous what we keep sacrificing to bring our people back into bondage. thinking that we're free, and you get back to the kingdom and you're going in chains. You don't even know. You're not above the angels like you're supposed to be. You down here with all of the people. You down here with all of the people that teach the deceiver stuff. You don't rise, you fall. Like when the wizard, he rose up, he fell. He was just like that. So yeah, we can dance, we can sing, we can praise, you can do all kind of stuff. But that doesn't mean if you're doing it for the wizard, the Most High don't know you. All right, Kimbo, hallelujah, bayete. All praises. May Tatanzami continue to grow your understanding in the spirit, because now comes the fact that all the saboteurs, they're going to be gone. Watch. They're going to be out of the picture. And then you're going to see it's like, whoa, these people were saboteurs. Oh, yeah. Okay. Zola Quingi, Sambololo, Wezi Yabi Kongo Kutwala. And we got to continue to fight this, people. Our people don't get it. It's getting harder and harder as they keep bringing more and more spells down. They keep bringing more and more deception, more and more people keep doing more and more of this stuff. They want to stay in the lie. It's going to get worse. Ingita. Salah Kambote. And then I'm going to also say New Salah Kambote. Stay well.